Hello and welcome to a new tutorial for a new gimbal by Hohem. This is the smartphone stabilizer iSteady V3 with AI tracking. It's a 3-axis gimbal. If you have no idea what the gimbal is or the axes of a gimbal are, go and check my previous video where I explain that. What do we get in the box? Of course, the iSteady V3, a pouch, a small Allen key, a USB to USB-C cable to charge your gimbal, and the instruction manual. Once you open the box, you will find your gimbal as folded as you can see it right there. At the bottom of your gimbal, you will notice 3 marks. 1, 2, and 3. They look like buttons, but this is actually your built-in tripod. So you simply want to slide out the legs and open them and place your tripod wherever you want for the next steps. For the purpose of my video, I'm gonna place the gimbal on my stand. So I'm gonna close the legs and slide them back into the body. To carry on with the tutorial, I'm gonna name a couple of directions for the gimbal. You will find a monitor, and this is what I call the front, what is facing me. And then we will have the back of the gimbal with a trigger button right there. We're gonna check all this stuff later on, so don't worry. But for now, keep in mind the front is the screen, the tiny monitor. Now that that's clear, we're going to understand how to charge our gimbal. On my right hand side, now I will find a USB-C port. With the cable I received with the gimbal, which is the USB to USB-C cable, I can now charge it. And of course, you can plug your cable to a power bank or to an electrical socket. You put your USB-C in there in the port and then have a look at your screen. As soon as I power up the battery pack, this green light will pop up telling me my gimbal is charging. When the light stops blinking, it means my gimbal is fully charged and I can remove the cable. Now we want to unfold the gimbal. Once again, the monitor is facing me. What I need to do is to simply lift up this arm of the gimbal and it's done. And the next step is to understand how we place and balance our phone on the gimbal. With the tiny screen still facing me, this arm should be now on your right hand side. This higher arm might need to be rotated because for me now it's not in the right place. So what I want to do, it's actually locked on one side. I can't spin it anymore, right? So I want to rotate it until I see this text saying iSteady V3 upright. So you have to read it in the right way and you don't have to read it upside down as so. All right, so make sure you read it properly. Same thing happens here. You want to read the Hohem logo upright and not upside down. Meaning my AI sensor, which we're going to talk about again, should be on your left hand side. And the iSteady V3 text should face forward. Also, you have some instructions literally on a sticker all around the gimbal, so just follow those as well. But what you want to do here is to have your phone with the camera at the top of your phone, open up these 2 brackets and insert your phone with the camera at the top of your phone. Also, make sure your phone is centered compared to this bracket. So make sure it's not too high because it's completely out of balance, or too low, okay? Make sure it's nice at the center of your bracket. And that should do. The default mode for this gimbal is in vertical mode, so portrait. We can also spin it in landscape, and we're gonna have a look at it later on. Now, still make sure you don't turn the gimbal on, right? Do all this process with your gimbal off, and also the next step. So the gimbal has a built-in extension pole that will allow you to take better selfie videos, for example, or different camera angle, which will not be able to achieve with a normal and shorter gimbal. Or it will help you out in achieving those shots. So the extension pole is inside the body of your gimbal right here. How do we use it? You simply want to take this motor, this is one of the three axes, one of the three motors, and you want to pull it up. That's how you extend your pole. And simply you want to slide it back in to reverse the process. Once again, make sure you do this with your gimbal off, because you could damage one of your motors if you do it with the gimbal on. Let's have a look how to turn the gimbal on and off. On the right hand side of your stabilizer, you will have the power button. We're gonna press it and hold it for 1, 2, 3. You will see a few lights here on your screen, and the gimbal will be activated. To turn your gimbal off, you press your power button and hold it again. You will hear a sound. The gimbal is now off. I'm going to turn it on again. If you double press the power button, your gimbal will go to standby mode. It's a sleep mode. The gimbal is still on, but it's not active anymore. To go back to full power, you press it twice again. And we're going to check the other main buttons on the body of your stabilizer. At the back of our gimbal now, we have this trigger. That's what we call trigger. You can use it with different functions. If we hold the trigger button, we will go into lock mode, which will lock all the axes, and we're gonna check that mode later with all the different modes. But keep that in mind, when you hold it, you will put your gimbal into lock mode. If we triple tap the trigger button, we will go to selfie mode. So the camera, the main camera of the phone will be facing us for selfie. To go back to default position, you triple press again. Now on the left hand side of the body here, we have an orange wheel. This is helpful to turn your light on. You want to press it and hold it. And as you can see, the tiny LED light is now on. To increase or decrease the power of this light, you simply spin your wheel up or down. But also we can change the temperature of the LED light by double pressing the wheel again. We are now in a white color of light. We can go to orange, and if we press it again, this is like in between the two shades. You can go from cooler to warmer temperature. I'm going to give you another couple of shortcuts which will be helpful later on when we understand more about the gimbal, but just because we are covering these buttons, I'll talk about it now. So still with the wheel, if you press it 5 times in a row, you will link your remote control to the gimbal. And we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A tiny green light will appear telling you the remote is linking to the gimbal. If we press it 7 times, we will enable the Bluetooth to connect to your smartphone. But we are going to connect our Bluetooth with the app later on, so don't worry about it right now. But again, it's a shortcut that you can achieve via the gimbal itself. We're now going to check the remote control. This device right there. This is a separate device actually that you can remove from your gimbal. And you just simply want to take it and pull it out. So that's a remote control to operate your gimbal. We have different buttons. A tiny joystick on the top right that will allow us to tilt the axis and also pan the axis. Talking about the joystick, handy again, if I hold down So if I press and hold the joystick, I will turn my light on. So if I'm far away from the gimbal and I want to use the light for any reason, I do that and I hold it again to turn it off. The M button, that stands for modes, so all the different ways your gimbal can operate. You will see this tiny icon which represents one of the modes. Whenever you press the M button, the icon will change and your gimbal will switch mode, and we're going to go through those modes in a second. Then we have a rec button that can be used when the Bluetooth is linked to your phone. We're going to check that through the app as well. And two arrows, one facing up and one facing down, which again we can use only with the Hohem JOY app for the zoom or the focus. I'm going to put it back here on my body. The M button, if I press it twice in a row, my phone will turn into landscape mode. That's how we do it. To go back to portrait, double press it again. If we triple press the M mode, we will go to what is called inception mode. So your phone will start spinning 180 degrees, creating a smooth movement in a circular way. With the rec button within the JOY app, with one single press, we will start recording or taking a photo according to your camera mode. With a double tap, we will switch between the video and photo mode, but you can use the rec button as the power button again. So you want to hold it for 3 seconds just when the remote is actually on the body of your gimbal. Otherwise, it will not work if you detach it. Nothing will happen. So it has to be on the body. To turn your gimbal on again with the rec button, you hold it 3 seconds. If I now remove the remote controller, on the right hand side, I will see another button. If I triple press that button, I will go into selfie mode. So if I'm away from my gimbal and I want to reverse the camera, that's how I do it. Triple press it again to go back to default position. If I press it 5 times, I'm going to reset the link between the remote controller and the gimbal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can see here the light from red to green trying to connect to the gimbal, but the two devices have to be connected to actually create that link. The light will stop blinking and there you are. If I hold this button, I will go into lock mode again. So it will lock all the axes and I will be able to see the 3 icons of my modes all lit up. Let's go quickly through the different modes of our gimbal. We check the M mode. We are now in pan follow mode, which is this kind of a circle icon on your screen, meaning that if you move your wrist from left to right, the camera and the gimbal will only follow the pan, so the pan movement, but the tilt will stay the same. As you can see, the phone is staying in this position. It's not going up and down, it's not tilting, it's just going from left to right. If I change the mode, I click it once, I will go to follow, meaning I'm also unlocking the tilt axis now. So if I face down, the phone will face down, the camera will face down, but still follow my panning movement from left to right. I press it one more time. We go to go mode, what's called go mode or POV, depending on the gimbals. But basically, I set free all the 3 axes. So the pan, tilt, and roll. Now the smartphone is also rotating now. If I press it one more time, I will go to lock mode. I can achieve the lock mode also by holding the trigger button at the back of my gimbal. And release. Let's say that I use the joystick, for example, and my phone is facing down. To go to default position, I press the trigger button twice. And now we'll go back to my standard position. Let's finally talk about the AI tracking device, which is this tiny thing, which is also our LED light, but it has a sensor. Looks like a camera, right? This is what can actually track you and make your gimbal follow your movements. It can be removed. There are two orange buttons, one at the bottom, one at the top. You want to hold them and slide out the sensor. But actually, we want it on. Now, there's also a power button on the sensor itself, which is another orange button. And you want to follow the text and go to on. Now, whenever you turn your gimbal on again, you will see a red light on your sensor, meaning the sensor is on, but it's not active yet. To activate the sensor, we have some gestures we can do, which are simply, and for this purpose I need to move actually in front of the camera. The OK sign will turn your sensor on and the green light will pop up. Check this out. Now to go back and deactivate it, we want to use like an Alt sign. Did you see how the sensor is actually following me, which is pretty cool. Let's now go through the app, which will allow us to enable more of the features of the gimbal itself. First of all, it's called Hohem JOY app. You want to download it and install it. Once you've done that, you want to have your Bluetooth connection on your phone. If you don't, turn it on, please. Make sure you turn the location on your phone as well. That's how the app will find your gimbal. Now, this menu will pop up saying that the Bluetooth found my gimbal. We press on connection. We'll hear a vibration, meaning the app wants to pair up with our gimbal. We press on pair, and now you will see a tiny Bluetooth icon on the camera icon at the center bottom of your screen. We click on it and we go inside the app, and here we are. Inside the app, we have different options, of course, different mode. Top left of the app, we have all the settings, all your photo size, and the white balance, and so on. You can access the modes again, so the pan follow mode, and all those. You can increase the speed of how the gimbal is following you, and all basically the technical things. We have the tracking, face tracking, and object tracking. This is actually not from the sensor, it's from the camera itself. You see? The sensor is off now. I can actually remove it. And that's another option for me to track myself through the app. We can change our frame rate and resolution. Moving to the right-hand side, we have a camera icon highlighted in yellow. These are actually some presets, some camera movement presets you can use. You simply click it and press on start. There's an icon saying F or Z, that's focus or zoom. So now we can finally use the controller here, the two arrows, to change the focus or the zoom of our camera. So this is the zoom. If I click on the letter, I switch to focus and my focus will change now. We also have some effects, beauty effects, sepia, so different tint and presets for us. Again, in terms of look and gesture control, you can switch it on and off. At the bottom, you will have the different modes of the camera: panoramic, photo, video, time-lapse, slow motion, and moment. So you just now need to have a lot of fun and practice and create amazing content with the Hohem iSteady V3. I hope the video helped out. As always, check my channel, a lot of stuff there, a lot of camera gear reviews and filmmaking tips. Hit subscribe, and then if you do, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.